Hey everyone, it's Tatiana from EdTrust, and today I'm with.
Augustus Mays, Vice President of Partnerships and Engagement at EdTrust.
So, Linda McMahon was recently confirmed. What concerns does her confirmation raise?
It's a variety of concerns, but more importantly, it's a signal of a dismantling of public education as we know it. So, as you probably know, the Department of Education, what was created over 40 years ago, was created to help level the playing field for students from marginalized communities. Historically, states and districts that serve students across the country were disadvantaged in different ways in terms of how education is funded in this country. So, the Department of Ed and the federal government's role in education was supposed to provide those resources for students of color, low income students, students with disabilities, the ability to be able to have a high quality education provided through the resources that their state and local communities didn't always provide. That was then provided by the federal government.
And what impacts will her confirmation have on K through 12 education?
And in particular, Linda McMahon, Secretary McMahon, through her confirmation hearings, uh, didn't reference Project 2025 directly, but clearly she is executing the president's playbook when it comes to dismantling public education. And so, in particular, again, the Department of Education provides a lot of resources to low income students through Title One. If that were to be sort of carried out by Secretary McMahon's approach and strategy, that program would go away. IDEA, which is the law and also the federal program that supports students with disabilities. Those resources that support interventions programs and instructional supports to those students would go away. And then the most important part, I think, is the civil rights protections that the
Mm-hmm.
Department of Ed provides to the Office of Civil Rights, which has historically investigated and also reconciled any issues related to discrimination by race, ethnicity, gender identity. And so all of those things in terms of the department's functions would also go away and would not be sort of overseen or monitored by the department.
What impacts would her confirmation have on higher education?
And that's also a major concern too, right? The largest funding stream that comes from the Department of Ed comes through federal student aid.
Mm.
And so Pell Grants, right, that go to low income students who want to be able to access a higher education could potentially be block granted or privatized and would not be sort of a public service to those students. You would also lose the ability of student loan programs, which many students, not just low income students, but students from middle class who also want to pursue that American dream by getting a post secondary degree or certification, would not be available to them. And so there are efforts, right, to privatize higher education, really transition it over to sort of for profit colleges, making it
Mm.
more unaffordable, and really just truly giving the opportunity to pursue an American dream for the wealthy and upper class and not for the majority of Americans.
How can we as a nation commit to student success?
So I would say, we're already committed to that. I think, again, this attempt by the Trump administration to lessen or weaken the federal role in education is, again, is an attempt to take away our civil right, which is access to a high quality education. And so I would say to folks, one, stay informed because a lot of the actions that they're taking right now, which is flooding the zone with a lot of executive orders, executive
Mm.
actions taken by the president, really doesn't have the weight of law. Actually, a lot of the actions that he has taken is unlawful. So it's important for the public to understand what is real and what isn't, and that it really does take an act of Congress to dismantle the U.S. Department of Education, and that it's important for you as a private citizen to engage with your lawmakers at the federal level and also at the states to ensure that your neighborhood school, your flagship university or public university in your state is being well resourced, that it's allowed to do the things that we want to see it do, which is provide a diverse and inclusive education for all of its students and our citizenry. So all of those things, I think you can make sure that you stay connected with EdTrust. Go to our website, go to our social platforms. We do a lot of data and research and analysis on a lot of the federal actions that are happening right now, and we can inform you on what to do, what actions to take, and how to engage with policymakers, and more importantly, your communities about what's going on and what's happening.